Good morning. It is 8:30 in the Tennessee Valley. Welcome to another edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. Good morning, Dr. Pollard, on this rainy Motivation Monday.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Good morning, Donna. Good morning. It's a rainy morning here in Alabama.
Dr. Pollard, we're going to get you to start over because I forgot to turn my mic on. Go right ahead.
All right. Thank you. Nothing like a redo.
That's right. Go ahead, Dr. Pollard.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Donna. It is a beautiful morning here. It's rainy, but I often think about how God has to balance all the different factors, right? So you got one person praying for sunshine and another person praying for rain.
Right.
And God knows when to send which. So we're very grateful, whether sunshine or rain. As I heard my dear friend Elder Al Sharpton say, Reverend Al Sharpton, any day that I wake up and I'm on the top side of the earth, that's a really good day. A rainy day is a good day. A sunshiny day is a good day. Any day is a good day. So it's a good day to be alive.
Yeah, we got another chance to get it right. So let's not waste it, right?
We absolutely do. And we've got an exciting broadcast this morning too. I mean, we're going to be talking about the OU Center for Entrepreneurship specifically, but in general, the need for entrepreneurship. Donna, a few years ago, the institution made a commitment that the purpose of an Oakwood degree is more than simply to get a degree and to go work for someone. But maybe the purpose of a business degree is to not just be an employee, but become an employer. And that's a part of what we're talking about this morning. And we've got great examples from former students to our current director of our Center for Entrepreneurship. And we're going to get some really great insight based upon our opening on past Friday, our official opening of our OU Launchpad. And you'll hear all about that. So listeners will hear all about what's happening inside Oakwood this morning.
So that culminated last week. It was Entrepreneurship Week, right? At Oakwood.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was the culminating event of the grand opening of the Launchpad. So let's get Mr. Waddell, our professor here, to talk to us about Entrepreneurship Week and how we ended it last week. I think we can start there.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, Professor. Good morning.
I would like to say that was actually our second Entrepreneurship Week. We had our first Entrepreneurship Week last February, and I can say that we really stepped it up this year.
Okay.
And so with Entrepreneurship Week, it basically highlighted the different things that we've been doing in the community, but it also showed how entrepreneurship, it can be seen at every school within Oakwood. One of the things that we've been trying to do every year for Entrepreneurship Week is show that throughout our campus, whether you're a biology major, whether you're a theology major, music major, entrepreneurship can be found there. And since our Entrepreneurship Center focuses on ideation, we wanted to make sure that this Entrepreneurship Week focused on helping people develop their ideas. And so we had Mayor Piggott talking about our history, our African-American, our history from Africa and how it started. And we also had Brandon Sadler. Brandon Sadler was the artist that did Suri's Lab in the movie Black Panther. He spoke and basically showed off his background in art and his background in entrepreneurship. So we went all the way through, and we had our panel on Thursday. A Thursday panel, we brought in some alums, we brought in some different people in the community. We even brought in someone that recently raised $700,000 toward their business. And so we had a full discussion on entrepreneurship, how entrepreneurship can be found all across the spectrum, no matter what your career is. And then the most exciting part was we were able to bring in or have a pitch competition. And in that pitch competition, we had a student that won $5,000 toward their business for first place. Another student won $3,000. And the third place winner won $2,000. So I can honestly say it was an exciting week. And then finally, on Friday, when we did our ribbon cutting, we also made the announcement that we are also a Unity authorized training partner. Now, the big thing about that, as a Unity authorized training partner, we're one of 17 in the United States. And we're the only HBCU.
Wow.
I have to say that again. That is huge. The reason why that is so huge is because in Huntsville, Alabama, if you look at any one of the businesses that are government contractors, one of the key things that they utilize is Unity, because Unity is it's not just a game development software. It also does things with manufacturing It also has to do with design, 3D modeling. And you can see that if you were to just search in Google for Unity jobs, almost every single one of those businesses require certification for some of those jobs. And we are the only provider of that training here in Huntsville. Before, they would have had to go to Atlanta or Nashville. We're the only one in the state of Alabama. So that was a huge culmination of all the events. And we also unveiled an esports lab thanks to community.
Okay. All right.
So it was a great week.
So that's where we're gonna start. That's just phenomenal. First of all, you gave real money away for those pictures. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's amazing. And then you're opening up the OU Launchpad. That was the culmination of it on Friday, of all the fantastic things that you just went over for last week. That's just amazing, Dr. Pollard. So let's talk about this Launchpad and what happened on Friday with the OU Launchpad.
Well, Donna, we are so excited about what happened, and we're grateful for our media partners who actually came in and covered it. So one way to describe it, let's use as a takeoff point the media coverage of the event, and then let's talk about exactly what the OU Launchpad is. So I'm going to share my screen for our listeners, and we are going to go right to WZDX Fox News here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oakwood University is taking business to another level using cutting-edge technology. The campus officially opened its OU Launchpad Entrepreneurship Center to the community on the 4900 block of University Square. It's in partnership with Unity, a leading platform for creating and operating real-time 3D content. The center is one of 17 centers to be Unity authorized training partner in the U.S.
It's rare for a university to take this step, and so we're doing it through the Entrepreneurship Center because we wanted to put a specific focus on micro entrepreneurs. Micro entrepreneurs are the type of entrepreneurs that just make up 92% of businesses in the United States.
The center has at least 3 rooms, and the university will host Unity-developed workshops.
Wow!
Isn't that wonderful, everybody? So let's bypass this, and I'm going to pick up this music that that's not supposed to be playing right now. Okay, there we go. There we are. Okay, so I should have lost the share screen, and we should be back on now. Yeah, so actually, we just had a wonderful experience with the media covering and telling this story about the OU Launchpad, and we're also excited about that. So excited. I also should take a moment to thank, and it's important, right? So one of the things that we try to communicate as a value here at Oakwood is that it's not just enough to go there by ourselves, but to take other people with us. Exactly. So I want to acknowledge some partners, especially I want to acknowledge the partner of Advent Health, whom we pitched for a center, and they gave us more than $200,000 to get going. And that was a phenomenal investment in Oakwood, and I want to say publicly, special thanks to Mr. Terry Shaw, who is the CEO of our Advent Health health operation, and I want to thank them, of course, for the generosity toward Oakwood University. And the Launchpad is evidence that investment was really worth the investment.
Yes.
Okay. So let's
so with that, Launchpad, OU Launchpad.
Let's open that up, and that's a big package, and I know maybe a lot of people listening out there aren't grasping what we're talking about. So if you could just tell us what the Oakwood Launchpad is and how it is meeting the needs of students and involving some alumna. Waddell.
Okay. Well, first thing I want to give I want to break down the Entrepreneurship Center first.
Okay.
Now, our Entrepreneurship Center is different from most entrepreneurship centers, and I'm going to tell you why. One of the things most entrepreneurship centers develop, especially in Huntsville, they start you at stage 2. Let me help you with your business plan. Let me help you develop your LLC, things of that nature. What we're focusing on specifically is the ideation phase. We realize that within our community, there are multiple entrepreneurship centers. There's a small business development center. There's Tech 515 on Sparkman, which is an incubator. But what we're doing is we're focusing on getting them at stage 0. I noticed, I think it was a couple years back, I was talking to a student who was a music major, and they were saying that they were really interested in entrepreneurship, but they had no idea what to start because all they were trying to do was put out an album, and they didn't feel like that would connect. So they wanted to know what steps that they needed to take. And when you associate just that idea of trying to plan that process out, you realize that you're venturing into entrepreneurship early on. And so what OU Launchpad has developed is a process that focus specifically on ideas. And what we did, which is different from most entrepreneurship centers, is we then partnered with other entrepreneurship centers such as CNI Solutions. That would be the development stage, or a generator, Bronze Valley Generator, which is in Birmingham. So throughout the process, we are helping people develop the minimum viable product or minimum viable service. We're enhancing that package, and then we're transferring you to be able to go and develop it further so that you can get your business plan, set up your business, start getting funding, because that's the biggest thing that's needed. I've noticed that there's a lot of money out there for these businesses, but the biggest problem that they encounter is the fact that they're not prepared to pitch for that. And so the best way to prepare is helping them develop their idea first so that they can continue to have a great foundation.
Wow. And Dr. Pollard, I understand that we have what we are calling entrepreneurs in residence who are helping out with the work that's going on there. Is that how that works?
Yes. So they're here with us this morning. Terrell Davis is what we call a serial entrepreneur. So he loves, that's the way he describes himself. He loves to start businesses and see them launch and move and grow. And we're very proud of him. Even when he was a student here, he was actually working his own business. I remember him coming to my office a number of times with wonderful ideas for how to be of service. And I just want to say, entrepreneurship is certainly consistent with the mission of Oakwood University. Sometimes people think that the reason you start a business is just to make money. But at Oakwood University, we launch our businesses not just to make a dollar, but to make a difference. And that's really what we're trying to do, and to meet a need. So we want our goods and services to intersect with the needs of people and to show them what a Christ-centered entrepreneur actually looks like.
Right.
So Terrell is here, and then Janna is here. Janna, am I pronouncing it correct? Janna or Janna?
Janna, it's Janna. So you got it right.
Janna, okay, thank you. And maybe Julian could say something, Professor Waddell could say something, just to introduce our two guests.
Okay. Well, it is my pleasure to announce, to basically introduce both Terrell Davis and Janna Peterson. I can tell you two things that just happened recently. Janna Peterson was recently nominated as Entrepreneur of the Year here in Huntsville, Alabama. And Terrell Davis was just placed in Forbes magazine. And I am extremely proud to be able to have both of them as entrepreneurs in residence. I could not have done the first entrepreneurship week, this entrepreneurship week, and being able to build out the entrepreneurship center without their assistance. And myself and Samantha Champagne, we've worked extremely hard to be able to plan with Janna and Terrell to make this something that the students can take advantage of fully and be able to take their businesses to the next level.
Oh.
So I'm honored to have them as part of the team.
And both of them are graduates of Oakwood University, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And they've come back now to help. So let's talk about, let's hear from Janna first. How do you feel about your experience so far? What does it involve, and how were you selected to be a representative, an entrepreneur in residence? Sorry.
So the experience so far, I've been working with the Entrepreneurship Center, I would say since last year, just before the first Entrepreneurship Week. And it's been amazing. I know I graduated with a double major in communication and English, and then, went out into the workforce. I graduated in 2010. It was extremely difficult to get a job. And so I started kind of just dabbling in different things, and entrepreneurship I would say it kind of happened to me, but having to kind of learn on the go like that, I'm realizing how pivotal a center like this would have been during my time in college. And so I'm really, really excited and honored to be a part of bringing that back to the campus. So that, I mean, you have students there that, you know, do plan on applying for jobs and working for different corporations, but even for those that, you know, don't get the opportunity that don't necessarily have in their mind that they want to be an entrepreneur, at least they can now have entrepreneurship as a fallback. So if things don't go exactly right, they still have the skills, they still have the training, so that they can still take care of themselves should they need to.
Wow. So what is your business? Can you say a little bit about your business, your entrepreneurship work?
Which one is
That's true.
So what I'm pretty much, I guess, known for is 57 Northampton. I'm the executive director of 57 Northampton, which is a mental advocacy nonprofit. So mental health advocacy nonprofit, sorry.
Wow.
And so what we do is we basically provide free mental health therapy to people that don't have access. And additionally, we teach coping skills and coping strategies so that, you know, people can basically learn how to deal with tough emotions like grief, sadness, depression, anger, fear, things like that. So just helping people learn how to cope with tough situations so that they don't necessarily, you know, need to end up in therapy. But then we also provide free therapy to those that don't have access. So that's kind of the main thing. Thank you.
Right.
And then additionally, I just launched the Janna P company. I just launched that last week. And it's something that I've actually been doing. It's a creative consultant, a creative consulting agency that I've actually been doing for years. I was actually doing it in college. I didn't realize in college that was entrepreneurship, but this is something that I was doing in college, and I've been, you know, getting a lot of buzz from it just from word of mouth. And it got to the point where I'm like, I cannot handle this if I continue to do it by myself. So I launched the LLC. I have a couple employees that are able to work with the clients and everything, so that it's something that I can continue to manage while I continue to run 57 Northampton. So
that is amazing and impressive. And we want to hear what Terrell Davis is doing as well. He's also one of our entrepreneurs in residence here at Oakwood University. Can you share with us your history of your organizations?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and I'll say I became an entrepreneur in resident because being a student entrepreneur at Oakwood, I felt like it was, you know, a journey, and I felt like it was so many resources that the other entrepreneurs kind of came together and was able to band together and do some things. And like Dr. Pollard said, was I created it not necessarily to make money, but when I started my first company, Tea Time, it was a tax company. And I simply, the second semester when tax season happened and students were trying to clear, I was a main resource on trying to make sure that they filed their taxes early so they could have, you know, money to clear and stuff like that. And we went on to do like college tours and et cetera. But when I graduated, one of the things I really want to give back when it comes to my university is like coming back and making sure that they had resources that were organized and resources that were a set place that they could go. Because you have some entrepreneurs that will, no matter what, they'll make it if you give them nothing with nothing on their back and just say, you know, go out there and make something out of it. But do you have some that need that coaching, and that doesn't mean their ideas are less. Right. So that was very important for me. So that's why when Julian and Oakwood University reached out to me about being entrepreneur resident, I definitely wanted to come back. And what my main job for entrepreneur resident is being that one-on-one coach for these students, so they can actually talk to me, being able to give them resources and stuff like that. And after they go through the idea stage and us helping them with the creation, the goal is to bring them back, which is and also helping them get funding. So we do strategic partners so that they can kind of go out and make those strategic partnerships. But once they're ready, the goal is that I have initiative that I actually started last year called HBCU Seed. Pretty much is a venture capital firm. We're raising $10.7 million for their fund, and it's specifically to invest in HBCU community. So that means if you're an alumni, if you're a student, and even if you're a parent or past faculty and staff member, we are investing in you as well, because we know that you dedicate so much energy to HBCUs, and we want to be able to prepare your dream, propel your dreams as well. So that's pretty much like my initiative with being entrepreneur resident. I just like to see them one-on-one, how they're doing, and just kind of have that one-on-one time with them to propel and give them whatever resources they need to do. And then my current businesses, Tea Time, like I mentioned before, I used Tea Time to invest after I graduated. I did that full time. And then I end up investing in the restaurant industry. I co-own a restaurant chain called Superhero Chefs. Me and my partner, he's a celebrity chef. So it's been like on Food Network, Travel Channel. We won like best breakfast in the country, top 12 best breakfasts in the country. And in addition to that, I also do HBCU Seed, where we're going around and we're actually, in addition to helping just Oakwood University, but just helping HBCUs as a whole, being able to be that investment portal. A lot of companies have said, come out and said that they're going to be supporting minority businesses. So our goal is to be able to use that to funnel back into Oakwood University and be that investment vehicle, saying, hey, you can give to our VC. We can now make sure that that money gets distributed back into these minority businesses, so we can create that Black Wall Street. I feel like every HBCU, and especially Oakwood, has very key components to be their own Black Wall Street, owning their own things. Like we have edible arrangements, being able to own hotels. I remember pitching Sabrina Cotton about like, hey, we need to get a hotel on campus or do other things, because at the end of the day, like that's where it comes down to real estate, owning things and like having different streams of income, so that when we do go through pandemics and we are suffering from the tuition base, we can now sustain and still thrive, coming with those additional streams of income. And which Julian has said it multiple times before, when HBCUs first started, they had that entrepreneurship mindset. They couldn't necessarily go out and work a regular job. So they had to make sure that they had resources and stuff to train them from that entrepreneurship mindset, so they can go out and, fend for themselves.
Now, both of you have launched your own businesses since working with OU Launchpad, right? So can you share with me how you've worked with have you had any opportunities with students who have actually launched their businesses through the OU Launchpad yet?
Yeah, so right now, the goal, like Julian said, was that we were going to the idea stage. A lot of them were just trying. So I do help probably a handful of them go and get LLCs or things that they're more advanced, because everybody has different levels. But the whole goal was not to stress them out, just to get them to how can you really define that? How can you really define the idea? And it's not just thinking about the idea. Even when Julie said it, it's kind of like, even when we take them to that, we have this thing called a one-page business plan. And it's a way where you can fully think out your full idea, because before you go get an LLC, before you go get all these things, you have to make sure that it is valuable. Like, how's it making money? Who are going to be your direct competitors? So in a sense, even though we do an idea stage, we do a very advanced idea stage, and really working them through that idea of really a full business plan, in a sense, just from the idea stage. And that allows them to fully get it out on paper and fully be able to say, okay, this is something I want to do. Or sometimes it's better if you feel like you don't want to do it, because it does take a lot of energy. It does take a lot of resources to be an entrepreneur. I definitely spent a lot in college being an entrepreneur. But that's pretty much the thing with that. So we have been pivotal in getting them to that level, and kind of going from there.
Wow.
I just want to add one thing specifically, just for our audience to know and clarity, the way that entrepreneur in resident actually is. So entrepreneur in resident is a subject matter expert in entrepreneurship. So for us at Oakwood University, we made it a point to find alums that had been entrepreneurs, that had been successful, that were willing to volunteer their time starting off. And then they transitioned to basically work a minimum of 12 hours a week to be able to help our students to do these different processes that both Janna and Terrell were just mentioning.
Wonderful. So you actually go out and seek these, and I'm sure Oakwood University has a lot to pull from, right?
Yes. Yes.
How do you end up selecting them? The ones
So the process that first, for both Janna and Terrell are our first entrepreneurs in residence. So the process began with them volunteering. So they volunteered first at the right before our first annual entrepreneurship week. And from that point, they were contributing their time. They were actually contributing money. I remember it was like Terrell basically had this I think it was a booth or whatever that like the students were able to come and they were able to get money, stand in this.
It's like a money booth.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Janna, if you all seen our video from last year highlighting Entrepreneurship Week, she literally led us all the way through all of the different things that we were doing, as well as facilitated a lot of the planning for that event, all the events that were happening. And for both entrepreneurs and residents, they work so hard to bring the actual individuals who were in the community to get them to participate. So we had field trips last year. This year, we had different people from all across the country. And if it wasn't for their participation and push, we wouldn't have gotten as far as we've done. So going back to answer your question, because of that process, we had a meeting within the School of Business. We brought both of their names up, said that this is what they were doing. This is what they've done so far. And since we were already considering the process of getting people in Entrepreneur in Residence, these two volunteers were the first names that were at the top of our list.
Okay.
Going forward, as we continue to develop, the process would be an application process. And as they go through the application process, we will vote just like we voted in our committee for both of them. It's just they were particularly different because they started off as volunteers.
Wow. Great. That's wonderful, Dr. Pollard. So
yeah, I again, it's just so impressive. And we could not operate the institution without the contributions of alum just like Terrell and Janna. We're very grateful for what they've done.
Yes.
They just remind us of the gold mine that we have here at Oakwood University. And I know so many people who are entrepreneurs, but they don't know it. They say they're doing little businesses and they talk about it. And I say, well, so you do so-and-so? So you do this, you do that, you do upholstery, you do that, you do these things. These are entrepreneurs, and we need to help them come into their full identity. And that's a part of the mission of our center, is to help you embrace that identity and then go for it, right? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You got to get out and you got to go for it. There's a statement that I like from the scripture. Well, no, one of the preachers said, he said, God will part the Red Sea, but you got to first, put your foot in the water, right? And that's a part of what our center, our Launchpad, is trying to help our entrepreneurs do.
Now, can I ask these kind of two questions in one? Is it for only students to receive the resources in this lab, or can community participate as well? And then my second question is, how can the community support these initiatives that are coming out of this organization, the OU Launchpad and Entrepreneurship Lab?
Okay, if you don't mind, I can take that one.
Yeah, Julian, please.
Okay, so it's for faculty, staff, students, alums, and the community.
Okay.
So like the beauty of focusing on the ideation stage is that anyone can come in to be able to develop their idea. And like I said, with us being a hub, we have over the last couple of months had people come in, some of them actually staff of Oakwood University, had them come in, and then from there, we direct them to one of our partners, CNI Solutions. CNI Solutions have this program called the 10-week Co-Starters Program, which basically helped them to develop their business. But even before they went there, going through us allowed them to say, okay, this is the idea I want to focus on, whether it's I want to create a beauty salon, or I have a photography business. So it allows them to figure out what is their starting point. And then once they have that, once we're able to enhance that, whether it's through workshops or basically get them, like I said, to their minimum viable product or service, then we direct them on. And so we're doing that to make sure that we tackle one particular subset of entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs. The reason why that's important, I want to touch on that a little bit, is that micro entrepreneurs make up 92% of the entrepreneurs or small businesses in the United States.
Okay.
When you think of someone that just says, oh man, I have this idea, I want to start this business, they're not automatically transitioning to this huge corporation. And most entrepreneurship centers are trying to target the ones that are making the next Amazon or the next Facebook. The first thing they say would be, It's like, how can we get you to $1 million? How can we get you to be able to scale to that point? But if you think about it, it's like each one of us has a circle, and there's someone in that circle that is an entrepreneur. And that entrepreneur isn't necessarily just trying to be the next Jeff Bezos. They're just trying to be able to have security, to be able to develop their business so they can support their family.
Wow.
And that's why that makes up 92% of businesses in the United States.
Okay.
But the main focus has been the 8%. So we want to be able to say, you know what? It's like, your idea isn't too small. We can help you get a starting point, and it's okay if you just want to make enough to transition from the 9 to 5. It's okay if your business is just to supplement the 9 to 5. Let us help you with that idea so you can transition to the next point and help you get something that allows you to have some financial freedom and to help you break generational curses and to be able to build generational wealth.
Wow.
That's our goal.
That is amazing. Dr. Pollard, as we close, can you tell us how listeners or people in the community can support these initiatives?
Yes, absolutely. So if we go to our website, www.oakwood.edu, there you can find information about our School of Business. There is also a web page, I'm assuming, Julian, for the Center for Entrepreneurship. But of course, you can also call, and one way is to call. You can call the switchboard at 256-726-7000 and be directed to Professor Waddell. There are multiple opportunities and multiple access paths in order to be able to get this information and to engage with something that's going to enhance your business. I know we're getting ready to end. One of the invitations we wish to give is to those who've already launched, right? See, so one of the things, those who are thinking about launching is wonderful, but those who have already launched now and need to refine their idea, Professor Waddell, are they invited to the Entrepreneurship Center? Let's say I've launched already, but I realized, man, I just went out there. But when I listen to Terrell and Janna, there is a process that I need to think through at some point if that business is going to be viable. Whether I did it on the front end, the middle, or the back end, I've got to think through that process. Could you speak to that before we close?
Okay, yes. So again, it's like the main key point is making it viable. What is this viable or not? And so even though our main focal point is making sure you're at the idea stage, the purpose of having entrepreneur in residence, the perfect purpose of having these partners is so that we have subject matter experts to say, will this business fly? Can this business scale? Are we able to build this out? So it doesn't matter which stage your business is in, we support you. It's just we specialize in ideation and we specialize in supporting micro entrepreneurs. But no matter what, that's the key point of having partners, so that no matter where you are in your stage of business, we can bring someone in and help you. And this is one of the two key things, and I'll be really, really quick here, is that if there's something along the line of support, they can come in from an a la carte standpoint and say, oh, can I get somebody to help me with my business plan? Can I have somebody to help me along with this? So.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Donna, we're gonna wrap up now. I can see the words on your mouth. We're gonna wrap up now.
I just got approval to go a little bit longer. If you have something else you want to touch.
No, the only thing I want to do is leave a Bible verse, because
okay.
Oakwood is known for its faith traditions, especially around entrepreneurship, and it's Proverbs 22:29, and it's written in the King James Version, so I'm going to adapt it a little bit, paraphrase it. Seest thou a man or woman diligent in their business? They shall stand before kings. They will not stand before obscure people. So the word here is that if we are diligent in our business, we will be outstanding. And I think that's the promise that we bring to this whole process. So we want to thank you, colleagues. Thank you so much, Professor Waddell. Thank you for your leadership of the Entrepreneurship Center. Special thanks to Dean John Anderson, who is the Dean of the School of our School of Business, and of course, Dr. Ted Brown, our department chair. All of the team, all the business faculty, I'm a member of the business faculty, all the business faculty, thank you so much for everything you've poured into this.
Thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
has been another edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard and special guest. Thank you all for being with us today. And listen, we'll be here again with another edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard on Thursday. Meet us there. I'll see you. You have been listening to WJOU 90.1 FM, WJOU in Huntsville, licensed to Oakwood University.